selling real one Chevy.
Hey everyone, welcome to IJustWatched. It's your boy Joseph, and we're talking Spider-Man No Way Home, aka Spider-Man 3, Tom Holland's official trilogy. And before we get into it, I gotta hit you with the usual, which is hopefully you like this video enough to smash that like button, hit the subscribe, and hit the little bell to get notified when everything gets released, such as videos like this. If you've seen our past videos, you know how I feel about the MCU Spidey. I'm not a huge fan. It's not necessarily Holland himself. It's really just the idea of spanning out his origin into 3 movies. Seems extremely unnecessary. And then the drastic character changes in the first 2, and he doesn't really become Spider-Man. Spoiler warning, let me get that out the way. Until the 3rd film. And that doesn't really happen until the very end of the 3rd film, No Way Home, is when there's officially a possibility of him being a proper Spider-Man. However, for them to do that, they basically had to kill Peter Parker, a character. And I was like, nah. One of the things I always liked, and one of the things that makes him such a crazy, impactful character, is the fact that, again, Peter Parker has to suffer. People don't like Peter Parker. They think Peter Parker's unreliable, he's a waste of talent, of brain, blah, blah, blah. Gets shed on so he can be a great Spider-Man and save lives and all that shit. And how to deal with having to keep that secret from people he loves. And this one, everyone he loves is either dead or has no idea who the fuck he is anymore. So now he's just lonely. But that being said, like, I don't know, I feel like this way they planned this movie and the way it ends with him, you know, losing everyone, literally. And then everyone across the multiverse forgetting who Peter Parker is or that he exists, basically means, like, he's Spider-Man now. He can focus on being Spider-Man. I'm like, well, I mean, cool, but it took all that, really? Like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. If I'm being honest, so what made this movie so fucking good, it's not him, it's not really the story, it's the fact that we get to see the best classic villains come back with William Dafoe, Green Goblin, Molina as Doc Ock, Jamie Foxx as a proper Electro. I remember him as the leg from The Replacements, as Dr. Kirk Connors, aka The Lizard, Homeboy as Sandman. Like, getting these characters back as proper versions of themselves, or if the ones that were already good, just, you know, slightly enhanced versions of themselves, was beautiful to see. That was cool. And then getting Tobey Maguire back as Spider-Man, Peter Parker, was beautiful. And then my biggest one, and my favorite, is Andrew Garfield, because without a doubt, that is the best Spider-Man to come to life on a live-action screen to date. When he's Spider-Man, he looks like Spider-Man, he feels like Spider-Man, he sounds like Spider-Man, he does Spider-Man movements. In his movies, he has some of the best close combat Spider-Man fights, the way he swings. Like, as a whole, he's the best Spider-Man. I think Tobey Maguire was a better Peter Parker, but Andrew Garfield is Spider-Man. But the reason I say that is because that's what made this movie amazing, was seeing them be like, oh shit, they're back, and then seeing them fight together, and then the way they had to team up. And like, my favorite parts of this movie is literally when it's them 2 on screen fighting the villains, when it's them, when Tom Holland, I lose Tom Holland in the midst of watching the other 2 go to work. You know what I mean? When they're fighting, his quips or his movements, the way they had to team up and vital, and like, they're like the Avengers, and they're like, haha, what the fuck's the Avengers? He's like, you don't know what I don't know. Like, I liked it. An okay movie. I don't think it's bad by any means, but it's not great. And again, if you say this is a great movie, it's only because the nostalgia that's in it. If we gotta be honest, let's be honest. The only reason this movie broke all of records or whatever is because of the fan service through the nostalgia of these characters coming back to life. For a multiverse, like, the whole multiverse thing for me right now so far is kind of a letdown, because even in Doctor Strange, there's not really huge interaction with other multiverses other than versions of themselves. This one, okay, had a version of a couple villains, but like, that's basically it. There's nothing too drastic or nothing too crazy. All that being said, the ending where he makes his own suit, he jumps out the window, and the suit looks fucking classic and proper, gives me this moment of like, okay, I might be on board for what's to come. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The first 3, I'm not a fan of. This Tom Holland Spidey is just not, it's not where it's at for me. But the end of this one, there's a tiny sliver of hope that it just might be. Also, when he's diving to the screen and you see his face at the end, it cuts, and to me, I gotta put this out there, it looked just like the animation from Into the Spider-Verse. I don't know if that's gonna mean anything, or Across the Multiverse is the name of the sequel. Maybe they'll land in the MCU for a moment or something like that. That being said, I want to hear your thoughts, your comments, your questions, your concerns, your requests. What do you feel about this movie? What do you think of the MCU Spider-Man? It might be your favorite, and that's perfectly fine. Oh, the after credit scene with Venom was a waste, especially if you've seen Venom 2. So Venom 2 sets it up. Oh shit, he's in the MCU. What's going on? And then here, it was just the shittiest way to bring Venom into it. And it was literally to leave that little sliver of Venom. And I'm like, alright, but they're not going to explain why Venom was there, because in that universe, Peter Parker, Spider-Man doesn't exist to our knowledge. So how do you know him? Someone said hive mind, that all the symbiotes. Nah, that sounds stupid to me. It sounds like a cop out. But I don't know. One of my favorite parts about this movie was seeing a comic accurate Rhino shadow in the seeing Craven look proper. It was cool. I think we possibly saw Black Cat, Scorpion, and a bunch of other characters that look cool, and I think could be dope if they look like that, like proper. But I mean, other than that, seeing Andrew back, seeing Tom back, that was my favorite. Spider-Man No Way Home is just an okay movie to me. Nothing crazy. If you take away the nostalgia, the feels of holy shit, they're back. I know it started a whole bunch of talks about Tobey Maguire getting a fourth movie, or Andrew Garfield. I prefer Andrew to get a third. Give me his trilogy. He deserves it. Go back and rewatch Amazing Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2. Amazing Spider-Man 2 loses it with the villains and the choices made in the story, but that's not his fault nor the directors. It was studio. But if you pay attention, even so, the character is beautiful. The small subtle things with the story is dope. The fight scenes, the swinging, the Spider-Man personification, his persona coming to life is beautiful in those movies. Like the first one when he's fighting the lizard in the school, bro, like that's one of the best to this day close combat fights I've seen with Spider-Man. The way he's on him and moving about him and trying to use the web and the, like, when he's getting thrown through the library and Stanley's cleaning, he grabs a book and like yeets the book at him. Shit like that is hilarious. But that's some Spider-Man, that's some Peter Parker shit. But I'm not here to talk about Amazing Spider-Man that much, so I apologize. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Where do you think it goes? Are you excited to see where it goes? I like the suit at the end. It looks like a proper Spidey suit. It looks like we might get a proper Spidey. I'm interested to see where this goes. And I want to hear your thoughts. Again, comments, questions, concerns, requests down below. Let me know. But until next time, stay safe, be well. Adios.